Another one that really caught our eye, actually, is a royal household is hitting the headlines because, for once, I'm not talking about the Windsors, it happens. It's actually to do with the Dutch royal family, who are reportedly not very happy about this front cover. Now, they didn't pose for the magazine for this. This is photographs from a Portuguese magazine which featured 16-year-old Princess Amalia on the cover, describing her as proudly wearing her plus-size look. The magazine has since apologised. But what do we think about that term plus size and them assigning it to a 16-year-old girl who has never described herself that way in public ever?
You know, for me, I class myself as a plus size, a curvy girl, a fluffy. And I think that happened because it got to a stage where when I was buying clothes, that was the section that I could fit into. So for someone so young, she might not even see herself as plus size, and the labelling is really dangerous. You don't know whether she's comfortable with her size or not. And, you know, when I was young, I've always been like a biggish kind of girl. And I've had people say things to me, use the F word, fat and so on. You know, even people make joke about it. And I just think to myself that for me personally right now, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me whether.
But that's because you've owned it, isn't it? And I think that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you feel forced into owning it, though? Or is it... I mean, the thing is, right, where does it begin? If you're plus, where's the minus? What is normal? There are hundreds and there are thousands of different body types.
Exactly.
Why do we not name them all? And
Yeah.
I think it's really disingenuous, that article. And I think to name a 16-year-old, to give her that label, well, shame on them, because God knows what that might do to that girl. These things are very, very, can be very disturbing to a young girl.
There's been a huge backlash against it.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
and
the magazines say that they were sort of using it, Carol, as a way to say, listen, girls out there, you know, if you're struggling with your own body, look at her. She's on the front of a magazine and, look, we're celebrating her. But the language, in fact, I think... Was it quite damaging, do you think?
I don't know about the actual phrase plus size. Personally, I think that people's weight should never, ever be mentioned. You know, they put people in the papers and they go, oh, she's flaunting her curvy figure, or it's always about how people look. And to actually say that about a 16-year-old girl who, you know, she might be happy with her body, but you don't know that by putting that on the front page. It's like, it's really damaging. I think it's damaging for everyone. The papers all the time say people are too thin, or they're, you know, they in a sort of sarky way say they're overweight, but they're basically saying, you know, they're curvy, they need to lose weight. And then you've got the government telling everybody they've got to lose £5 to you know, to save the NHS again. And it's like everybody is being told they're either too fat or they're too thin, and they need to drop it. When I was a little girl, my mum never mentioned weight in our house ever. And as a result, I think I've never really had issues with it.
So important, that, isn't it? The idea that if you just don't mention it, people will, as young children, you just find your own natural rhythm in your own body.
They've given her a label.
Constantly conform to one thing or be labelled. I think that's very telling, Carol.
The thing is, as well, they've done that article without... That was not her words, you know. When I was young, I knew I was a bigger girl from my friends and so on. But for me, being from a Jamaican culture, I ate good food. You know, it wasn't seen as anything bad. If I go to Jamaica now, I've been called, you're a fat girl, and I don't take it as anything bad because
it's a compliment.
It's a compliment, you know, I look healthy. When someone says to you, look healthy in Jamaican, it means you have meat on your body. And if you've got meat on your body, then you're succulent.
It's funny. So you had to go from that and feeling just being... Because when I look at you, I see a very confident, sexy woman. No, I really do. And I think if I was a bloke, that's what I'd go for all that, like, because you're very, like, But somewhere along the line, you started calling yourself a plus...
Yeah.
A plus
and
size.
That's because the options that were given to me, and because... The reality is people labelled me and put that in that category.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, I've gone through my stage of insecurities, worrying about my weight, my belly and so on, and then it's got to a stage where the time I'm wasting worrying about it, you know, I could just be living my best life. There's men that like me this size. I've not had a problem so far.
Is curvy a better phrase? I mean, if they'd said curvy 16-year-old? Would that have been less insulting than saying plus size?
I think
Carol's shaking her head.
Do we ever comment on a man's? Do we ever comment on a man's
You're
side?
so right.
We've just got to get out of this habit of constantly just checking what a woman's shape is before anything else about her.
Yeah, yeah.
Carol,
Yeah.
just a final word
They
from you.
do.
Yeah.
They do sort of tell everybody, look, you know, we've got to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in their own skin, and then they say, oh, you know, you can't use the word fat, you can use the word plus size. You shouldn't mention it at all. That's it.
Well, listen, we asked, do you find the term plus size insulting in a Least Women poll? 46% said yes, 54% said no. So it is quite a split.
Are they all a size 8?
I don't know. That's the next poll.